Glad to have you back now. It's Business Now. Barrister Jide Ologu, a national development advocate, is here with us now to look at the position of the law and implication of this development. Let's get started from there.
Thank you. Let's look at Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act 2022 as amended. What it says is that a political appointee that intends to participate in the primaries, either as a candidate or to nominate, should resign 30 days before that participation. And there is a distinction between who a political appointee is and who a civil servant is.
Right.
And that is why when the court now, by ex parte order, declared that Section 84, Section 12 be expunged from that act, it was based on the fact that the Constitution already covers that aspect, that stipulates that civil servants who intend to participate in elections should resign 30 days before the general election. So they are clear. This one is even dealing with the primaries of the party now. And the political appointee is appointed by the executive. So it's not different from who a civil servant is. And in the case of Emefiele,
because that's what I wanted to ask. So do you now address Emefiele as a political appointee or a public servant in his own case now?
The matter is in court, so I do not want to preempt the court, and I need to be very sensitive. But if you look at the fact that he did not build his career in CBN, he was brought in from another bank to head the CBN as a CBN governor, then you may not clearly state whether he is a political appointee or a civil servant. Whatever the case may be, whether a civil servant or political appointee, there is what we call the GC. GC means Global Convention. By Global Convention, people occupying such sensitive offices should step aside before expressing interest in politics. And some have argued that on the platform of ethics, that your bank that you preside over is a custodian of sensitive materials that Inec deploy during elections. So there are several arguments here that points to the direction of doing what is honorable, which is to step aside. But we all know that there are some offices in Nigeria that you don't want to throw aside while gunning for another one. And this is a very interesting era for us. It's not just only Emefiele, that has failed to comply with the provisions of Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act 2022 as amended. Even other ministers that want to come to office of the president have not complied, or those who want to go for governorship primaries, all right? Maybe because of the judgments in that court concerning the removal of that clause from the act.
Right.
But even though the National Assembly has gone on appeal, and what subsection 13 of Section 84 of the Electoral Act 2022 as amended says is that if you don't comply with subsection 12, then your candidate will be thrown out. So right now there are several traps here, and we don't know for how long or for how fast this matter will get all to the Supreme Court to have a final verdict. And elections are coming. And the case of Emefiele going to court, yes, he has the right to go to court for interpretations. And we must commend the Honorable Justice who said, no, I'm not going to grant any order by ex parte application.
Right.
Put the other party on notice. Let them come and defend this motion. They either tell me to go ahead or oppose it. And I think that is highly commendable. If not, he could have gotten that order ex parte, But then we've had issues with ex parte orders recently in Nigeria.
I think, whether the judgment is going to be at the end of the day in his favor or not, that's for political issues now. But I need us to explore the issue economically now. And what impression would these create for someone who is still occupying a very sensitive position at that, and then indicating his interest in political, position, I mean, what does that tell? What is the impact of these on the economy, and of course, impression it has created among the Committee of Nations or with regards to investors?
By Section 40 of the Nigerian Constitution, you have the freedom of association, freedom, your fundamental human rights. And by Section 131 of the Constitution, there are criteria for those who can aspire to be president of the country. And academically speaking, you're only expected to have school certificate results. And I think he is well read, but we are talking of ethics now. And for someone occupying that exalted office, what has come out now is what we call perception in public relations. He will be perceived as probably someone who has been playing the kites of the present regime, because questions are being prompted that, okay, you want to be president of Nigeria, how did dollar slip from 190 naira in 2015 to 600 naira or 580. There are issues. Why is our economy where it is? Though, on the side of the governor of CBN, there will be argument, we have done our best, anchor borrowers and things like that. Then why is it that by year 2015, as at March, the total indebtedness of Nigeria was about 12.12 trillion naira, but today it's about 39 trillion naira. So, and again, in the political arena, you will have to justify what you have done in office to qualify you to be a candidate for the presidency. And having said that, there are still arguments around whether the primary is going to be by direct or indirect or by consensus. So, and here is a situation where by now we have over 20 aspirants within the same party going for that office. And again, ASU is on strike. We have the likes of the Minister of Labour throwing in his cap that he wants to be president. And we have the Minister of State for Education, is also throwing, so you just find now that it appears as if we have exalted politics above governance. And I have been saying that. How can we say now that Nigeria is better than it was 7, 8 years ago? And these are big questions, but let's see how all this unfolds. But like I said, by global convention, you are expected to step aside. But you know that in Nigeria, we are not used to stepping aside.
And that confirms the calls from different quarters now for him to step aside, either to be removed or be sacked. So what do you think becomes of him, or what happens next?
Who's going to sack him? That's the big question. Do we have the system in place that ensures that people comply with the rule of law? I mean, there is a law, Section 4 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, says that the National Assembly shall make laws for the peace, order, and good governance of the nation. And laws have been made, and some are saying we are not likely to respect these laws, and they are presenting themselves for such an exalted office. But I have said that the judiciary also has created a scenario that is slippery and permissive by a court saying that that section should be expunged from the law, from the laws. And the president himself, by body language, was not comfortable with Section 84, subsection 12 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended. And if you give it a strict interpretation, a political appointee is different from a civil servant. You see, so, and the import of that law is to create a level playing ground for participants. Let me make reference to what happened in Osun State. You saw a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria moving with the paraphernalia of office to go and shake the table in Osun State. And so you are still in office as a minister and you are moving around with the resources, and sometimes, for those of us who patronize the government in terms of filing applications and relating with them, at moments like this, bureaucracy is in trouble. They will shut down the office. Some files, everything is talk because Oga is going for campaign. We need to get serious. We need a system that will ensure that when laws are out there for the good governance of the nation, you should not trample upon the law. You should be bound by the laws of the land. But when the law itself is exposed like a banana peel. What do? You see? So we need to get, I said.
Let's wrap it up with this now. How do you suppose he manage, should the judgment goes in his favor, either against, how do you, for now he's there, how do you think he can manage his interest, which is ongoing in the political arena now, and of course, the economy as well, managing the two together?
You see, the economy is in trouble. And like I said, this is not a good perception for him at all. But asking whether the judgment favors him or not, he's still going for the primaries. Right now, he's not a presidential candidate.
Right.
Until at the primary level, he's allowed to fly the ticket of the APC. And I can let you know that there are other politicians waiting in the ring, who have been in politics for long. One of the issues that came up is whether he is even a registered member of APC, which has been established from his ward, that he registered, I think, in 2021. So there are still issues for him to contend with. But this is positioning us on the global platform as a ridiculous nation. I mean, I think our succession plan should have been more refined than what we are having now. And of course, like I said, politics has overtaken good governance. And we need good governance in this country to put it back on the journey of prosperity and security and enhance welfare of the people. But we are watching with all the 100 million nairas flowing in for nomination forms. So, and I just hope that this is giving us another revelation in Nigeria to ask ourselves, where do we go from here? Because it's quite dramatic. This is the first time in the history of this nation when you have candidate, swimming out of the ocean like there is a heavy juice somewhere to grab. But I think it's also good for democracy. It makes it more challenging, and we are yearning for good governance that we deliver.
Well, let's watch as event unfold in the coming days, so keep a ride on the political arena. Thank you for coming, Barrister Jide Ologo. He's a national development advocate and public affairs, and thank you for your time on Business Now.
Thank you. God bless Nigeria.